presented by ListenToGenius.com. Narrated by Simon Vance. I have named, among many rivers that make music in my memory, that dirty water of Leith. Often and often I desire to look upon it again, and the choice of a point of view is easy to me. It should be at a certain water door, embowered in shrubbery. The river is there dammed back for the service of the flour mill just below, so that it lies deep and darkling, and the sand slopes into brown obscurity with a glint of gold. And it has but newly been recruited by the borrowings of the snuff mill just above, and these, tumbling merrily in, shake the pool to its black heart, fill it with drowsy eddies, and set the curded froth of many other mills solemnly steering to and fro upon the surface. Or so it was when I was young, for change and the masons and the pruning knife have been busy, and if I could hope to repeat a cherished experience, it must be on many and impossible conditions. I must choose, as well as the point of view, a certain moment in my growth, so that the scale may be exaggerated, and the trees on the steep opposite side may seem to climb to heaven, and the sand by the water door where I am standing seem as low as Styx. And I must choose the season also, so that the valley may be brimmed like a cup with sunshine and the songs of birds, and the year of grace, so that when I turn to leave the riverside, I may find the old manse and its inhabitants unchanged. It was a place in that time like no other. The garden cut into provinces by a great hedge of beech, and overlooked by the church and the terrace of the churchyard, where the tombstones were thick, and after nightfall spunkies might be seen to dance, at least by children. Flower pots lying warm in sunshine, laurels and the great yew making elsewhere a pleasing horror of shade, the smell of water rising from all round, with an added tang of paper mills, the sound of water everywhere, and the sound of mills, the wheel and the dam singing their alternate strain, the birds on every bush and from every corner of the overhanging woods pealing out their notes until the air throbbed with them, and in the midst of this, the manse. I see it, by the standard of my childish stature, as a great and roomy house. In truth, it was not so large as I supposed, nor yet so convenient, and standing where it did, it is difficult to suppose that it was healthful. Yet a large family of stalwart sons and tall daughters were housed and reared, and came to man and womanhood in that nest of little chambers, so that the face of the earth was peppered with the children of the manse, and letters with outlandish stamps became familiar to the local postman, and the walls of the little chambers brightened with the wonders of the East. The dullest could see this was a house that had a pair of hands in diverse foreign places, a well-beloved house, its image fondly dwelt on by many travellers. Here lived an ancestor of mine who was a herd of men. I read him, judging with older criticism the report of childish observation, as a man of singular simplicity of nature, unemotional and hating the display of what he felt, standing contented on the old ways, a lover of his life and innocent habits to the end. We children admired him, partly for his beautiful face and silver hair, for none more than children are concerned for beauty, and, above all, for beauty in the old. Partly for the solemn light in which we beheld him once a week, the observed of all observers in the pulpit. But his strictness and distance, the effect, I now fancy, of old age, slow blood, and settled habit, oppressed us with a kind of terror. When not abroad, he sat much alone, writing sermons or letters to his scattered family in a dark and cold room with a library of bloodless books, or so they seemed in those days, although I have some of them now on my own shelves and like well enough to read them. And these lonely hours wrapped him in the greater gloom for our imaginations. But the study had a redeeming grace in many Indian pictures, gaudily coloured and dear to young eyes. I cannot depict, for I have no such passions now, the greed with which I beheld them, and when I was once sent in to say a psalm to my grandfather, I went quaking indeed with fear, but at the same time glowing with hope that, if I said it well, he might reward me with an Indian picture.